This episode is brought to you by Lumina Growth Lab. At Lumina, we help professional learning and development companies who are struggling with predictable lead flow, breaking out beyond their network, and a sniper approach to attracting the ideal clients so they can have a smoother sales process, finally have scalability, and ultimately take their business to the next level. Most of the time, our clients come to us frustrated because business has fundamentally changed since the pandemic and now the disruption of AI. But with the right strategy and support, they're able to confidently add new channels of lead generation, leading to a packed pipeline that creates sustainable revenue and year-over-year growth for cheaper than ever before because of the use of AI technologies. If that sounds like you or someone you know, connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'd be happy to have a conversation with you about unlocking your business's potential. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the Marketing Matrix. I'm your host, Lisanne Murphy, and today I am joined by the wonderful and talented Elaine Buxton. Elaine, thank you so much for coming onto the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Guys, I am really excited for this conversation. I've never had a guest quite like this in terms of the business that she runs. And so I'm really excited for this conversation. But before I hand over the mic, I want to take a moment to introduce this powerhouse woman. So Elaine is the president and CEO of Confero, a nationally recognized customer experience research and mystery shopping firm. She helps brands understand what customers are actually experiencing and whether the promises made through marketing are being delivered in real life. With decades of leadership experience, Elaine works with multi-location businesses to turn customer feedback, operational data, and frontline insights into actions that strengthen loyalty, consistency, and growth. She also brings a valuable perspective on entrepreneurship, board leadership, and mentoring women business owners. Under her leadership, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce named Confero its top small business in 2024. Congratulations. That's really
Well,
exciting.
thank you. Thank you.
Guys, so if that doesn't make you excited, I mean, who doesn't get excited about mystery shopping? I mean, we're going to learn all about it and more about what it is. And it's amazing. And you've probably been targeted with ads or emails inviting you to even be a part of some of the surveys that maybe Confero was running for local businesses. So I'm really excited. Again, Elaine, welcome to the Marketing Matrix.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we dive into some of the, well, actually, let's do that first. Like, can you give us an overview of the business? Like what is Confero? Like, who are the types of clients that you work with? What are the types of experiences that you create? And like, how do you do your research for companies?
Okay, so Confero is a customer experience measurement company, which means we help our clients identify what's really happening in front of customers across their entire footprint. So we do that by sending out mystery or secret shoppers to look at how things are happening operationally inside each unit. We do that with audits or with customer surveys, or we mystery shop chats, we mystery shop websites, we mystery shop telephone calls, all of that together to paint a picture of what's really happening inside the organization. So as you can imagine, companies, as they get bigger and they have more locations, it's really hard to get a handle on what's actually happening in front of the customer. And then what we see now is that the people involved in marketing are part of identifying what the customer journey should be. And sometimes that's really difficult for the operations people to actually execute. So we kind of happen in the middle where we can talk to both sides of that coin and make sure that what everybody's expecting at the corporate level is actually happening. So clients are companies like AMC Theater, Jiffy Lube, Jersey Mike's, grocery store chains, anybody that's got multiple units that's of a sufficient size to have this kind of problem.
Yeah, well, and I would imagine like with those multiple units, as you called them, like having a consistent experience is really important, right?
Well, it is. And also, a lot of the organizations we work with are franchised. So you have the interest of the franchisor and the interests of the franchisee. And some of the franchisees are small, and some of the franchisees own many, many units, or they own multiple different franchise brands. So you can imagine some things get a little difficult to figure out, and that's where we come in.
So do you design the entire experience in terms of like, okay, like this is what a shopper is going to go in and do. This is the actions that we want them to take or the script that we want them to say. And like, does the corporation obviously like comp the person for the movie ticket or like how you guys design that all end to end? Like that's so many details. Like how do you manage that?
Well, it is a lot of detail work, and in some ways, it's an administrative nightmare. But yes, the first thing we have to do, a lot of times the company will say, my boss said we need a mystery shop program. So will you go do that? Well, what's the end objective? What are you trying to find out? What are you trying to learn about? Is this so that you can have better training? Is this so you can identify pain points in the customer journey? Is this so you can identify how things are being sold? Sales process, merchandising, lots of different reasons. And sometimes we can shop multiple reasons. But the first part of the process is to identify what information you want at the end. Like Stephen Covey said, begin with the end in mind. What do we want to see when we're finished? And that's kind of the hard part of the process for most clients because a lot of people don't really understand what they need until they need it. So we have in September will be our 40th year in business. So we've been doing this a long time. So our role is to really help our client know what's doable and what's not, what will get them the information and what won't. And so we work with them to understand the customer journey and what should be expected. And then we devise a survey instrument that the mystery shoppers would use to sort of guide their experience. The client does typically pay for a product or a service or a meal or something like that if it's but what we don't wanna do is overguide the shopper and put words in their mouth, but at the same time, we have to have them do something that's required. So, for example, if you're visiting a restaurant, you might be required to visit the restroom. Well, it may not occur to you at that particular moment that you need to go do that, but that's part of what you're required to do. Check certain departments, interact with people in a certain way. Order a specific sandwich to take a picture of it and see if it's built correctly, whatever the criteria are. That's what we instruct the shoppers on.
I love it so much. So, what I think is so interesting is, especially with like this multi-location thing, right? You're taking qualitative experience and turning it into quantitative data, right? So
Yes.
that a company can make a data focused decision on how to improve the service or experience in some way. Is that correct?
Yes. And there's nothing wrong with customer surveys. And we do customer surveys, but we've probably all been somewhere where the employee says to us, will you rate me a 5? Or if you can't rate me a 10, then, please tell me and I'll fix it or something. Sometimes the survey can become the goal rather than the goal being better service or understanding customers. So that's where the mystery shopping piece comes in to see if the process that happens in front of a customer is actually taking place. And a lot of times what the marketing side envisions really can't be executed on. As an example, there was a national quick service chain that introduced a new burger and they wanted us to test the new burger and the quality of it and whether the employees were mentioning it. So we did a drive-through study of several thousand locations. And what we identified for them was not that, I mean, the employees were mentioning the burger. It was on the menu. It was everywhere it was supposed to be and it was built properly. But the lines were really long because one of the ingredients of the burger was taking too long within the kitchen orientation of all their units. So that enabled them to sort of backtrack and say, well, maybe this isn't the best burger for us to have with this ingredient that takes too long. Well, that was marketing came up with this burger idea and operations had to deliver on it and they can only deliver with what they actually have. So,
Oh, that's so interesting. So,
yeah,
like, it wasn't a marketing or messaging issue. It was like operationally, like how the back end was set up. It wasn't optimized for that particular offering.
right.
Wow, that's so interesting. Okay, so before we dive deeper into this, I would love to give you an opportunity to share a little bit of the background of Confero, because how you guys got started and how this is a multi-generational company. You mentioned just briefly right now that you're in your 40th year. Like, that's amazing. So
Yeah.
give us the background.
Okay, so back in 1986, my mom, who had been a school principal, decided that she wanted to work on educating adults, and she started a training company about a week before I came back from managing retail operations for Wedgwood in Europe. And so I had just come back to the US and she wanted to start this company, but she didn't understand business. She understood the product, the service she wanted to provide. So I told her I would help her out getting started while I was looking for my real job, and I'm still here 40 years later. What we found out was we had a lot of success with retailers, and mostly that was because I was helping her with sales, and retail was my background, so that's what I focused on. So before we conducted the any kind of training, we would go in and do what we called a needs assessment, and we would see how the organization was behaving at the front line. And over time, our clients said, well, the training was great, but can we have some more of those needs assessments? We really like those needs assessments. This is really good data. So we started promoting that, and that really helped us grow. And also, it was kind of an aha moment. Like that's recurring revenue rather than quick in and quick out, do the training and move on. And then just over the years, we've navigated that piece of it through 4 recessions, a pandemic, the introduction of everything technology-wise, fax machine, PC, cell phone, mobile apps, online dashboards, data consolidation, and now AI. So it's been a fun ride because about every 5 years, there's some kind of disruptive
Mm,
technology in our industry. And so it keeps us young and nimble to have to learn these things before our clients ask about them. We
yeah,
we try to bring new things to the forefront with our clients.
super interesting. So has mystery shopping always been a part of the needs assessment, or like was that also an addition that happened later?
Well, what we learned was fast forward from 1986 to 1998, there was a meeting of about 100 companies that was put together by 2 gentlemen who figured that we needed a trade association. So they invited everybody they could think of that was anywhere near mystery shopping to come to Florida for a meeting. So it was kind of freaky. We got in a room with 100 other people and realized we're really not that unique. There are 100 companies doing this. They're coming at it from a different way. But it was really pre-internet, pretty much pre-online survey. We didn't really know that what we were doing was called mystery shopping. We just called it a needs assessment. And then so once we
Mm.
learned we were part of an industry, we changed our terminology.
Hmm. Wow, that's fascinating. What's been your favorite pivot or like something where you're like, oh wow, like this is actually like it's really fun to do the needs assessment in this particular way, or it's made our job easier because of this, or like what's been your favorite pivot or technology innovation in this?
Well, I don't mean to sound trite, but I'd have to say AI, and I'll tell you the reason. It takes advantage of everything I've learned through my whole career of this to understand how to apply it to a process. During COVID, most of our clients closed, and we lost most of our business during about an 18-month period while they were closed. So that was really a pivotal moment, as it was for a lot of other businesses. But when our clients came back to us, we were able to build our processes not on legacy systems, but on new systems. Because you can imagine the clients had to change how they were serving customers during COVID. You didn't used to be able to do drive up everywhere and they put it in your car or third party Uber Eats, Grubhub, or so many different ways to serve customers. So the programs that we were delivering for our clients became so complex that AI was really helpful in helping to identify how we could move forward with complex programs and still provide the data that we needed. And then it introduced an opportunity for us to aggregate data. So not only do we do the mystery shopping for clients, but we can also aggregate their other data sets and ping it up against mystery shopping, customer surveys, other kinds of information, and use that AI, apply it to big data to identify trends that humans probably never would see. So it's
That's
a
cool.
great time to be alive, and I'm really enjoying it. Uh,
That's cool. So you use so it sounds like you use AI to help you like design the experiences that like you need to create as well as interpreting the data post survey
yes.
gathering.
Yes, we can also use it as competitive analysis of service levels with our clients' competitors or with our competitors. We
Mhm.
apply it to our internal processes and using specific pieces of AI to sort of lock down how things are done within our own company so that we're sure people aren't, going off and cowboying what they want to do, that we have a lock on it. We deal with data and it's very sensitive data. So we have to have an enclosed system. So we don't use, like free AI tools and things like that.
Mhm.
And then the flip side of it, kind of the dark side, is that there's so much fraud out there. It's really easy for somebody to impersonate someone or pretend something happened. And
Mhm.
so, as an industry and our company are really involved in trying to combat that. And then that's I probably should also say the fax machine because we used to have to mail everything and it was kind of hard to wait for the feedback. So you can imagine, well, you probably can't. You're probably not old enough to imagine, but imagine you mail the survey out. So we had to have a mail operation and a mail permit and all of that. And then the shoppers would mail the information back, and then we would have to have the information keyed in, and then we would have to create reports from that.
Yeah.
And so it was really difficult to have information quick enough. And now it's almost instant. Not only that, but when a mystery shop report comes in, depending on what the client wanted, the data can get summarized on a dashboard for the marketing side and another one for the ops side and another one for the store level. And then there can be action plans automatically created based on anything that needs to be addressed. And it's all enclosed in that system. So it really kind of helps eliminate some ordinary tedious hands-on management time that can be done with the click of a button. So that part's
Yeah.
really fun.
I love that. I love that you pick AI and the fax machine, right? But, like,
Yeah, the beginning and the
both both were, like, huge, time savers, right?
well, yes, we weren't used to being able to get any kind of printed information that quickly.
Hmm, that's amazing. Is your mother still living or still involved in the business?
No, my mom passed away 4 years ago, and she retired in 1999. That was kind of a fun year because everything was about the year 2000 and Y2K, and the
I
world was
remember.
going to come to an end, and she said, I think this is a really good time to hand everything over to you."
I bet that was absolutely thrilling for you.
Yeah, yeah. But also, I really enjoy the technology side and growing with the technology, and peopling was really more of her thing. So it was just a good time to transition. So I've been left holding the bag since 1999.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. Which is, like, half of the life over half of the life of the business at this point.
Yes,
Wow, that's remarkable.
long time.
So, what are what are some of your initiatives at the time of this recording? We're still in Q1 of 2026. So, what are you focused on this year? Is it more focused on efficiencies or on growth or market expansion? Like, where's the focus for you guys right now?
One thing that happened post pandemic is that there were a number of businesses in my industry that were having trouble surviving. And so they either went under or they sold out to other companies. So it was a lot of mergers, acquisitions. And so some of the bigger companies really got bigger. And that's okay, but they can put a lot of price pressure on just straight up go do the mystery shop and leave. Don't talk to me about anything else, just do the mystery shop. We're a more holistic approach. We really want to help the brand grow, understand the mystery shops, the action plans, the defining the customer journey, and all of those things are part of the relationship that kind of make us sticky with organizations. So, what we're trying to do at this point is catch brands when they're just the right size before they're really big and make a whole bunch of mistakes and grow too fast and like shooting out of a cannon. Let's get them and as part of their growth strategy to understand what's going to happen when you've got 50 locations and all of a sudden you've got 150 locations. You're a completely different organization, you've got completely different needs, and then now all of a sudden you're 400 locations. That's completely different. And so all these layers of decision making, management, departments,
Yeah,
all of that can sort of get mixed up. So what we really enjoy doing is catching brands when they're young and helping them grow. So that's really what we're focusing on now.
that's cool. And do you have a specific way to do that, or have you grown mostly by referrals because it's a business that's been around for a long time?
Mostly referrals. We also are in I don't know what you would call them, procurement databases, Ariba and some of the others where people can find us. If they search for mystery shopping, our name will come up and then we can participate in an RFP. But what we try to do is to work on the relationships and not necessarily part of the RFP. I mean, we do respond to them, but that's not the meat potatoes of our business.
Yeah.
Referrals, our clients move around, so you can imagine if somebody's at one organization, they get a job at another similar organization, they'll bring us along. Or we're referred, we work for maybe a large franchisee who refers us to the corporate level. So that
Hmm.
happens. So a lot of it's been kind of referral, and then organic search finds us a lot. So we put a lot of effort into how to be found. And then, I mean, right now we're going through a whole big rebrand, and it's all about AI discoverability and content and all of that. Thought leadership is just kind of a track we've started pushing this year.
And
We're just
how are you doing that? Is it through the podcast or books or through YouTube or
a little bit of each. I've been invited to do a number of things this year. They're all sort of different. I've been all over the place. So I probably should figure out maybe a more defined strategy around it, but I've just been taking opportunities that come up to see where I could get involved.
Sure.
I mean, last year I served on a panel discussion in Paris for the International Council of Small Businesses about women owned businesses. And I was like, well, that's really cool. That's something fun to do. So I went and did that. You invited me to be on your podcast, and I'm really excited about that. So
Yeah.
we're just kind of making our way through this thought leadership
Yeah.
process.
No, that's cool. Yeah. Well, and I would imagine like especially with like you've just an amazing story and I think that I would imagine that there's a lot of companies. Well, tell me this, like are there a lot of companies that could leverage mystery shopping that don't, that should?
I'm sure there are. I don't know who they are. Yes. So there are a lot of companies that conduct mystery shops that don't know how to leverage the mystery shopping because they are
Mm,
large and they have put their mystery shopping program out to RFP to the lowest bidder. And they have least common denominator the whole thing down to where the actionable information really isn't there. So you really don't want to have a program that is just there to sort of assuage someone's ego or confirm something that particularly senior executives believe in. We really need to be working with companies that want to hear what's working and what's not. And they want the information, the data, so they can grow and manage their brands better. So I'm sure there are some that should be shopping that don't. And I'm sure there are some that are shopping that aren't using the information
hmm.
to the extent that they should.
Yeah. Interesting. I love it. And tell me what are there any things right now like in the business that are like keeping you up at night? You're just like, "Oh my gosh, like this piece,
Well,
gotta figure this out."
yeah, there are a few of those things. We are growing like a weed again. So, with growth comes a lot of, anytime you're scaling your business, it can have an impact on everything, your technology, your people, your cash flow, your financing, your client interactions, all of that. Growth is fun, but not for growth's sake. So we don't have to necessarily be as big as we were in 2019 because I'm very selective now as far as what we take on. So what keeps me up is at night is, well, should I have taken that business that came our way that I declined? Or, having lived through, COVID time, that's fine. We just kind of know now who's a good fit and who's not. But that's a hard decision to make, especially when
Sure.
it's yours and it's your own company and it's your
Sure.
people. My leadership team has been with me. I've got 5 people who've been with me anywhere from 13 to 27 years. They know
Wow.
what they're doing. So the nice part is I don't have to manage anything day to day because they have that process going. So it's really just trying to understand what's around the corner and are we making good decisions.
Yeah. I love it. So exciting. Cool. And then tell me about like some things that you are passionate about personally. Like when you're not geeking out over the data and the tech of Confero, like what are some of your personal passions that get you excited?
Well, I just finished, I think it's my third or fourth year of co chairing an event in our county. We had 300 high school girls come in to be mentored with women who are involved in STEM careers, science, technology, engineering, and math, because at the high school level, girls tend to be discouraged in some way. And so we wanted to make sure that we're sort of changing that. So now we've done this enough years. It's expanded to 30 cities around the country, and we've done this enough to start seeing them go to college and what they're doing and what they're studying, and sort of building a cohort of them to help the next group of women along. So that's really fun, and that's a fun age. And then I've been involved on the board of directors of the Women's Presidents Organization, which is for it's a peer advisory group that's international for women who run businesses of a certain size.
Yeah.
So these are my people and they kind of understand me, and I've been a member for 20 some years, so I thought serving on the board would be an opportunity to give back, and so I've been doing that. And then also I've just been traveling because I am addicted to having fun right now too. So trying to
Let's
make everything
go.
fun. Yeah.
Where's your most recent place you visited?
I went to South Africa last month for 2 weeks.
Wow.
So yeah, we had a women presidents board meeting there. So some of us tacked on a few days before and a few days after, and then we got to meet our
So
members
fun.
from all over Africa. It was really great.
Did
Really
you did
great.
you go on a safari?
I did.
Let's
I
go.
did.
Was that your first time in Africa?
It was. It won't be my last. It was really an amazing experience. I would highly recommend it to anyone. Have you
I have my youngest brother served a Mormon mission in South
Mhm.
Africa, and so he was in the Cape Town area.
Yeah,
So I have like, there's lots of stories and connections and pictures there, but I have not personally visited Africa yet.
yeah. Put it on your bucket list. It was on mine. I'm really
Okay,
happy that I went. Check
that's
that one
awesome.
off, but I would
And
like to go again.
do you have another trip planned this year?
There may be another one to Paris, and then it's all domestic.
Is the Paris one in regards to like similar to what you were referencing that
International Council for
yeah,
Small Business, yeah.
so
It's
cool.
a group of leaders and academics that study entrepreneurship and small businesses and impacts, and then the different groups share how governments and entities can encourage entrepreneurship within their type of government. So,
I love it.
just kinda spreading the word about entrepreneurship all the way around.
So cool. Well, send me your luggage dimensions and I'll see if I can fit. I'd love to go. That's awesome. Elaine, it's been seriously such a joy having you today and sharing your business and how it's been just an integral part of the majority of your life and what an amazing opportunity you had to work with your mother and just the opportunities that you're taking to give back and to invest into women-owned businesses. Like I think it's amazing that your mom had the confidence and vision to start a business when she did with just the way that women-owned businesses are just it's not the norm. So
No. When she started the business, when she incorporated, that was a time when women could not get a loan for their business or really personally without a man to sign.
that's
And
crazy.
yeah, it's amazing how far things have changed and things are
Yeah.
better. But that really speaks to me of her bravery and conviction that this was something that she wanted to
Yeah.
do.
Well, and she do I remember this right? She came out of education.
Hmm.
You said
Yeah.
she was a principal, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just amazing. I love it. The whole story is amazing. What your business does is really remarkable. And I just love anything. It's one of the reasons why I love marketing is because marketing is turning like qualitative signals into data, right?
Hmm.
Quantitatively so that you can make database decisions. And so I love that your business does that like in a very tactile, physical way with people. So super fun. So again, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
So, for people that want to follow you or get in touch with you or understand more about the business, where can they find you?
Well, they can always visit our website, and that's Confero Inc. ConferoInc.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Okay, guys, I'm going to put those links directly in the episode notes so that you can link directly out to those. And so yeah, again, Elaine, thank you so much for sharing everything you're doing and for the exciting initiatives that you have. I'm really excited for everything that's coming your way.
Thank you so much. Enjoy
All
talking
right.
to you.
Yes, it's been amazing. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening to the Marketing Matrix. Wherever you are, we know that your time is valuable. So for you to spend some moments with us means the world. Until next time on the Marketing Matrix.